All right, you freedom loving boys and girls, welcome back. We're doing the fork in the road sale, whatever compendium series of videos on, highlighting some products. This video is going to be about our G3 gear roll. So again, not a loadout video. Matter of fact, go see, and I've got a great loadout video for the G3 from Gimli still that I've got to publish. So just stay tuned on that. I was kind of slow rolling all those out, but I'll publish that here soon. But I'm going to focus on these videos and a couple other little things between now and Independence Day. And then, but I'll get that video out so you can see it. But we've done loadout videos, so this isn't a loadout video. I just want to talk about the product, show you a couple things that you haven't thought about, and cousin husband voluntold himself, because I've been wanting to show off a technique of a way you could use this for years now. And then, just overtaken by events and you get busy. And then now I've been injured for the last, blank years. So he didn't know it, but I'm going to be behind the camera. I get to be Stanley Kubrick, I'll zooming in and stuff. And Paul's going to demonstrate something. That'll be our last video for the day. But here's the G3 gear roll. So just a couple things. So, it's a gear roll. The very first one of these I've made, which was the G1, or we just called it the gear roll. And I've said this a bunch of times. I was bow hunting, excuse me, it harvested an animal. I'm there field dressing it. It was early in season, or late in season, I guess, but early in winter. I meant like the climate seasons, not the hunting season. But so it was kind of snowy and muddy on the ground, just kind of one of those kind of gross type of environments. And I'm field dressing my animal, and I almost lost one of my knives. And you know how, and if you're into hunting or outdoor stuff, you know how expensive knives can get. So that really, I was like, well, that's never happening again. So I made the gear roll specifically for me to take bow hunting, so I could have all my stuff. And I'll show you my kind of G3 that I have that I use hunting now. But here's the G3 in its current configuration. So it's a big gear pouch, and I'll open it up in a second. You can put a Velcro panel on the front if you want. It's got a drag handle on the top, and there's ways, and you can see the other videos of how you could attach this to the bottom of your mother and have that bikini strap come through. There's all kinds of different videos that I have on it, but it's a drag handle hanging on the bathroom door in your hotel. And this is a big travel companion, like a field hygiene kit, shaving kit, toiletries, that type of stuff. You could use it. We've got a ton of people who use it as seriously as like baby bags, because when I open it up, you'll see, and they've got diapers, lickies and chewies and toys and stuff in there. So how you use it's really up to you, but it's got a limited amount of molly on the back, so you can mount it to the bottom of the mother or to the outside of another product. You can see that right there. You could actually mount this to your waistline if you wanted, and that's actually how I really carried mine in the very beginning. Was I had this in the small of my back, so you can do that. Now you can see I still got mine set up, because this is how if I run a shoulder strap, this is what I like to do. I undo this webbing right here, which isn't hard. Like to open it up, you don't have to undo the webbing. You can just slide it off the side, and the roll opens up, and then you can just slide it back. But to do this kind of configuration, string it back through the ladder lock. Then I ran it through a tri-glide. Then I ran it through just a loop female buckle. And I did that just because, so then this buckle doesn't just travel all around. It's always, see what I did there? I just kind of froze it in space, or locked it in so it's in this little zone here, because that's where I like if I run a shoulder strap, right? And then, like I said, to open it up, you don't have to run the webbing all the way back through the ladder lock. I mean, you seriously can just loosen it up just a tad bit, grab it, and then pull it off to the side. And then it just opens right back up. So if you imagine if that was into the small of your back, and if you're, again, whoever it was, the person camping with you, hiking or military, now this is open on the backside, and you're able to get at these components. So what we're going to do with this one after this video is in this main, so here's what we got for pockets. I'm sorry, I bounced around a little bit, but you've got two big main pockets, and then two smaller pockets, but they are of different sizes too. And again, it's not a loadout video, we've already covered it. But in this pocket right here, I've got like this is a 10 by something sil nylon tarp, and I've got it S rolled in here, and I've got the ridge line already established. So what we're going to do afterwards, again, cousin husband got voluntold, we're going to go over to these two trees, And I'm just going to show you a way how, because again, the other part are these little attachment points. And this could either be in extremis, you could wear it as a chest rack, but what I'm gonna have cousin husband do is he's just gonna take some S-beaners and he's gonna S-beaner this around his waist. And then this is just gonna be up in the front of his waist, just like kind of like a, a cummerbund type of thing, or a sporum, or sporin or whatever they're called if you wear kilts and stuff. But and then he can just be hands-free, do what he needs to do, walk back, and he's going to set it all up, right? So 2 big main pockets for whatever you want to use in there. Diapers, lickies and chewies, cordage, tarps, steaks, first aid, food, whatever you're doing. And then I guess I might as well just do that. Again, there's 2 pockets here. You can see they're smaller pockets. 1 pocket. Now I've just got extra fire starting kit, but this gives you a side. The small pocket is really more the size of an Altoids tin. And this one, I've just got some extra fire starting stuff in there. And then the larger pocket, and I don't have it in here, I just got a spare headlamp in there. I can, not that you really care, but come on now. That always happens too. Whenever you're doing a video, that's the moment where your fingers don't work or something happens. But I don't know why this guy's kicking my ass. It's just a headlamp. Anyway, I just got a little Petzl headlamp. I must have folded it up somehow and it just was kind of getting, I bet it was getting hung up on that guy right there. That's what it was. Anyway, so, but this is also the size of more like a strobe light, slightly larger, or the larger Altoids tints, right? So that's what you can get. But on on the pocket flaps, you got these little tie downs, and that's what this is all about. You got a tie down on this other one. They open in opposite directions. And the reason they do that, if you haven't ever wondered, because, when you pack things, gravity does its bit. There might be more gear down here. And if this other side was the same, then this part of the bag would be all lumpy and gross. So if it's a little bit thick down here, now it's a little bit thick there. So then when it rolls up and folds, it gives uniformity. And we designed it this way too. So if you can see that right there, as the pockets come together, it makes a little channel. And I'm going to show you what that can be used for in a second. But that was done intentionally. So you'd have a little channel, because you imagine, you could fit a tarp in there. You could fit a kneeling pad, hoodie, t-shirt. I mean, I guess I don't even need to show you, but that's what the design is. So you can do that. And then the flap can still come back over and capture it and keep everything inside of there. Next. And this just worked out perfectly because it's cousin husband here. So this is the original. He wanted me to do this. Paul is big into ham radio, and that's a good thing, right? But so he wanted a G-roll so he could carry some of his key components, but for ham radio. And so seriously, he just did Grandma's Marathon. He did the Bear Grease sled dog race. He's got some other thing going on this weekend. And so there's a lot you can do in ham radio, and there's a lot of things that you can do on the volunteer side for your community, especially if you've got any of those outdoor races and stuff. And this doesn't have to be for ham radio. You could imagine if you were a hunter. I don't know if any hunters out there do range cards, but I'm a bow hunter. I did range cards all the time. That tree is 32, yards. That tree is 47. There's this, and then you got a little thing. So, because you got a cheat sheet, like, oh, he's coming up and he's out of there. He's going to be by that tree. That's going to be 32 yards. That's where my sector of fire is. Mentally, or if you've got like a single point, then you're dialing it in, and then it's, bullseye every time. But so as you can see, what we did is we got rid of one of the large pockets. We had to extend this just a tad, so it is a little bit longer than the standard one, because we wanted to make a nice pocket where you could put your material in here. Again, whether it's a range card, your cheat sheets, for your commo plan, or the frequencies that you're working on, all that kind of stuff. And now I just got to show that off again, but in the really cool Nemesis camo. So this is the hammy. I just love this, especially in large items. That print is so badass. But that's a hammy right there. That's what it looks like without anything in it. That's the ham roll. So pretty cool. Clint over at Nemesis is a cool guy, and that's just a really kick-ass pattern. And then last but not least for this, so this is this is now my new one. This isn't the original, but this was an older G3, because you notice there's no molly on it. But this, I just wanted to show off. So as that folds up, so that's a hoodie inside of there, just wrapped up. So you can see, I mean, it's nice and compact, and you can put other items in that space that you create. You know, like, so if this was, you know, I could easily see doing this, you know, like, oh, I'm going to throw another hoodie in there, or, you know, deer hunting's a little different. You can be in camo. I don't like going out deer hunting when it's gun season. No offense to Bob. But I don't like doing it. But, you know, oftentimes I would go in if I was hunting during those periods where there's non-archery people out in the woods. I'd have my orange vest and, you know, my orange on, but then I would stow it away once I got to my stand, or if I was going to ground hunt or whatever I was doing, because, you know, I'm up in a tree, and then I would just either, you know, put this here, and then this would be hanging on the back so you could see it of my stand, or just drape the thing over. But just gives you an example. You can put other items inside there. That's all I really wanted to point out with that. Yeah, I think that kind of does it. So the G3, that's on sale right now. Again, the Fork in the Road sale is going to continue until that Monday after Independence Day. Monday, the 30th of June, is going to be our Millstone Monday. It's normally the first Monday of the month, but that Monday after Independence Day, I don't want to mess with that. And it's Independence Day week, and some people might even take, you know, Friday through Monday off. So we're going to do it on June 30th. We'll talk about more, you know, again, of the logic behind that, where I'm coming from, and some other issues. But so maybe we'll see you there on Monday. But other than that, I think that kind of does it for the G3. Again, the sale, we're basically giving these things away, but it's a damn good product, right? I mean, and it's got all kinds of utility and all kinds of use to it. And there's a lot of thought and effort that goes into it. And as always, you know, we're only using American-made, mil-spec, berry compliant materials. You know, Kadura brand, Kadura. Yeah, I like it. It's a damn good product. And you know, and then they're always just a nice thing to have too, is like, you know, just to keep one or two in your car with emergency, you know, again, you could make it into a shelter kit, a fire kit, a first aid kit, lickies and chewies kit, whatever. So it's got a lot of versatility to it. So cousin husband, what do you think? Is that good enough for that one? All right. I just got the green light from, I don't know what director he's pretending to be, but I'm going to be Stanley Kubrick here in a second. We're going to do an action video showing how to deploy, you know, using the G3, how you can deploy that tarp between two trees. You literally can have shelter in less than 2 minutes, right? You know, and this isn't anything crazy. I'm sure many of you already know what I'm talking about, and have seen it, and already got your tarps and everything pre set up with ridge lines and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, it's going to be fun. I'm going to make him do some work, you know, and he's going to be a movie star. All right, you know the deal. If you've got questions, comments, reach out anytime. I'll do the best I can. Until then, and as always, keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right, everybody, be good. We'll see you again soon.